Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at a really sort of rich creative project today. Feels like more than just, songs thrown together.
Absolutely. We're focusing on Keeno Worldwide's 2022 album Lucid Manuscripts V. And yeah, we've got some descriptions, some excerpts about it to guide us.
Right, and the goal here for you listening is to really get a feel for what makes this album tick, especially since, well, it's a recent work from someone with a long history, and collaboration seems key here.
It really does. And just to give that context, Lucid Manuscripts V, it's actually his 29th studio project.
29th, wow.
Yeah, 29. That alone tells you something, doesn't it? He's got this huge body of work behind him.
It really does. I mean, that brings up the question straight away. How do you keep things fresh, find new sounds after like 28 previous albums?
Well, one thing that really jumps out from the descriptions of this album, Lucid Manuscripts V, is the list of collaborators. It's pretty extensive.
Yeah, I saw that. We're talking Lex Facto, Alex JP Pfeiffer, K-Force Beats.
Black Lions Beats, Blank Beats, Surefire Beats, Juju, 64 Beats. I mean, it's quite the roster.
It really is. A lot of different names, different roles probably too. Artists, producers.
Exactly. You've got that whole mix. Artists bringing ideas, producers shaping the sound, engineers refining it. It really suggests Keeno was aiming for a varied soundscape, pulling in different talents.
And the descriptions seem to back that up. They talk about an eclectic sound, something that's, innovative but still feels like him, like Keeno.
Uh-huh. Which is interesting, right? How do you manage all those inputs but keep your own distinct vision?
Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it?
It seems like he did, though.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's described as still recognizably Keeno Worldwide implies, a strong guiding hand throughout the process.
So let's get into some specifics, maybe. The opening track, Casino Royale III.
Right. Produced by Lex Factor and Alex JP Pfeiffer.
Yeah, it's mentioned as having this, vibrant tone, kicks things off with energy.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Designed to grab you from the get-go. But then, interestingly, it shifts.
Oh.
The next thing mentioned is Dreamscape, Skit. And that one's produced by Keeno Worldwide himself.
Ah, okay. So a skit produced by him, that's a definite change of pace from a big opener.
Exactly. That move from presumably high energy to something more reflective, something just from him, it suggests like a deliberate journey he's taking the listener on. Makes you wonder about the themes, doesn't it?
It does. What's that contrast telling us? And then the excerpts also mention Eternity and Hall of Fame intro.
K-Force Beats on production for those.
And they're described as tracks that resonate deeply. That sounds significant, more than just catchy.
Yeah, resonate deeply. Usually points towards, an emotional connection. Maybe it's the lyrics, the melody, the whole atmosphere the production creates.
Something that hits you.
Right. It sounds like K4's beats really nailed that emotional core on those tracks.
Then we get some others highlighted for their beats. Love All, Trust None, produced by Surefire Beats.
And Puff and Strong, which is Lex Factor again.
Right, and these are called out specifically for having, compelling beats, showcasing versatility.
Yeah, it points to the range, doesn't it? You might get a really specific rhythmic feel from Surefire Beats, maybe something complex or smooth, and then Lex Factor might bring a totally different energy, maybe something harder or more experimental on the percussion side.
So not just one style across the album, he's exploring different grooves.
Exactly. Seems intentional, using different producers to get those distinct flavors.
And how does it wrap up? The closing tracks mentioned are the High Life outro,
produced by GOG,
and The Zone, produced by 64 Beats.
Yeah. And they're described as leaving a lasting impression, sort of sealing the deal in the album statement.
Providing that sense of closure, maybe, but still echoing the main ideas.
A good outro is crucial, yeah. It's the last thing you hear. And using two different producers there, maybe it offers, a couple of final perspectives or moods as it fades out.
Now, it's important to remember, amidst all these collaborators, Keeno Worldwide isn't just, directing traffic, is he?
No, not at all. The descriptions make it clear he produced several tracks himself, too.
Right. It highlights him as an artist, composer, musician, creator, and producer. He's wearing a lot of hats.
Definitely. It shows he's really hands-on, deep in the creation process, even while bringing in all these other people. He's shaping it directly.
Making sure it all hangs together, probably.
Yeah, maintaining that core identity we talked about.
And it's not just track after track either. They mention interludes, skits, like that Dreamscape skit. And there's an outro skit too, both produced by him.
Right. Those elements add another layer, don't they? They can create pauses, build atmosphere, link ideas, make it feel more like a complete narrative.
Less like a playlist, more like an album experience.
Exactly. More immersive. It draws you into his world a bit more.
And speaking of his world, the notes also mention stuff beyond the music itself, like merchandise,
Yeah, online store, international shipping, apparently.
digital gift cards, a weekly newsletter. Seems like he's building a whole platform around the music.
Which makes sense nowadays. It's about that direct connection with listeners, isn't it? Offering more ways for people to engage beyond just hitting play, building that community.
So yeah, putting it all together, Lucid Manuscripts V sounds like its position as, well, more than just album number 29.
It feels like it's presented as a marker of his artistic growth, his evolution.
Yeah, a big collaborative piece that invites you to kind of reflect and really get into Keeno's world. And the website's there if people want to dig deeper.
It definitely sounds like a project that balances his own strong vision with the energy you get from bringing in diverse talents, that synergy.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
the main takeaway seems to be that Lucid Manuscripts V is, well, a pretty significant project for Keeno Worldwide. Very collaborative, showing his continued artistic development even this far into his career.
Absolutely. It highlights that journey.
And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Well, thinking about that mix of collaborators, you wonder what specific perspective did each one, like K-Forest Beats or Surefire Beats or Lex Factor, what did they really bring to Keeno's vision?
That's a great point. How did their individual styles blend or maybe even contrast with his?
Yeah. And how would, going back, maybe listening to some of those other 28 projects, how would that shed light on his whole journey? You know, how his sound and his way of working with others has changed over time.
That's a fascinating thought, looking at the whole arc.
Definitely something to chew on. So yeah, we'd certainly encourage you, if this has piqued your interest, to use this as a starting point. Go explore Keeno Worldwide's music. Seems like there's a lot there.